There are three most commonly made mistakes that many riders make, and I'm going to walk you through those mistakes that they make and why they make them, as well as what to do about it. The first one that is the most common is what I call the scrunching leg, and that looks something like this. That is when the rider, I'm not going to do it too much so I don't upset my horse, but that is when the rider tries to use their leg either to get the horse to bend or go forward, or to simply respond to a leg aid by bringing the heel in and grinding the leg up. And the reason that this is such a functional aid is that this blocks what we're looking for in the first place. Let me turn the horse towards you so you can see this a little bit better. So this actually blocks the horse from being able to do what we want them to do. So if you're trying to move the horse's rib cage, let's say right to left, and you do it by bringing your leg in and up like this, that is going to actually drop the horse's shoulder and withers toward that side that you're trying to move it away from, because it makes your hips unlevel. So if you think about, these are my seat bones or my hips, when I bring my leg in like this, I make them do this. So if you take a look at my body right now, by bringing my leg in like this, it's made my hips do this, my rib cage do this, my jaw do this, my eyes do this, my ears do this, and so on. So it sets me off balance to the point where the horse has to counterbalance by dropping their shoulder to pick that up. And what that creates in the rider is, if the horse is not responding to the leg that I've given, then I'm going to be tempted to use my outside rein or my inside rein to pull them over. And so then I'm going to start moving around here. By using that leg incorrectly, let's say I'm trying to move him into this corner, and I bring my leg in like this. That's not going to make him move over very well, and so then I'm going to want to use my legs and my hands to override to pull him in that corner. Now, that makes him fall right back out that door again, because I'm actually opening the door when I do this. I might have my heel in his belly, but I've got this part of the doorway wide open, so he's actually falling through it more and more. So then I end up puppeteering him around, and we kind of have a tug-of-war there. So instead of using my leg in a scrunching way, I would want to use my leg long so my seat bones are level, and then my weight can actually shift to the outside of the turn, and he would move through my inside leg around the turn a lot more easily. I'll show you that again. I'm going to lengthen my leg, and I'm just going to bring my weight to the outside of the turn, and there I can shape him through the turn without needing to override the reins, without needing to override with the leg. The second most common mistake that people make is connected to that one, is when I'm trying to create a bend, because let's say I've already scrunched my leg up and I've gotten on level in my seat, when I want him to turn right, I'm going to be tempted to pull the right rein way too much, and I'm exaggerating for the sake of a video. But we tend to make our hands really unlevel. The outside hand tends to want to come up a lot, and that makes the inside hand come back toward me and override. So now he's actually locked against that inside rein, and there's no chance that he's going to be able to make a correct flexion, because my inside rein is following an uncentered seat bone, an uncentered midsection of me, and it's going to cause him to start to weight it. When he becomes too heavy on that rein, I'm going to be tempted to override or try to make him softer to it. You see a lot of riders bumping the inside rein or bumping with their inside leg at that point in an attempt to make the horse get off of it, when our center has actually pushed them onto it in the first place. And the third most common fault that riders make is riding on their crotch. All these three things often come together. So if my leg is scrunching, that closes my seat bones together, it pinches my hips off so that the horse's back is not able to move well. When the horse's back is not able to move well, he's more prone to pulling me onto his shoulders. And that's going to make me ride on my crotch, making my hands go down too low, and it's going to make my reins have an offensive feel and often making me turn my knuckles over. So all of these things often come together, and you can see that my horse is becoming more and more wiggly. He's a good boy, so he's probably not going to misbehave a whole lot because of it, but he's having trouble going straight. So when we sit on our crotch, we cause the horse to go more onto the forehand, and we cause him to be unable to lift his back and move his back well. So then we're unable to have subtle aids. So all three of these things happen generally for the same reason. On a nervous system level, when you take your feet off of the ground and you put your butt in the saddle, your brain already registers that there is a lack of balance. We were not designed to ride horses. We were designed to walk around on the ground. All right, when we take our feet off of the ground and get in the saddle, to keep stability, your nervous system is going to prioritize keeping you stable above keeping you having good form or having good equitation. And what it does in order to stabilize you is contract. And if you get to where you're thinking about making the horse do stuff, you're making the horse take a turn, take a circle, take a gait, or whatever, respond to an aid, your body, in order to stabilize, contracts, and it's going to rotate toward the strongest side that you have. So if you're right-handed, you're more prone towards scrunching on that side. And so over time, that becomes your normal baseline that your body memorizes. And so more contraction is necessary to keep you stable. So what's the solution to that? When you're learning how to ride or when you're trying to undo poor habits, it's very important to practice getting centered on the horse's body and absorbing the horse's motion before asking them to do stuff. This is how I teach riders to ride initially, whether they're beginners or advanced riders, it doesn't matter. We all start with this, where the more centered and low you can get your center of gravity, the more safe your nervous system will register you as, and the more long your leg can be and the more subtle your aids can be. So when you're sitting on the horse, just feel yourself on the right side, the left side, and learn to absorb the horse's gait. So at the walk, we would have right front, left front, right front, left front, right front, left front, right front, left front, right front, left front. At the trot, it would be a little bit more bouncy. It's really important to get this stable while you're walking so that you feel safer. But the more you can learn to breathe deeply and integrate your body in a neutral position to where you are not leaning forward, not leaning right, not leaning left, but feeling nice and comfortable, equally on the horse's back, to where the horse's back can pick you up and just carry you and you can move together, then your legs start to relax because they're not needed to hold you. Your hips don't have to contract to stabilize you. Your arms don't have to pull to keep you stable either. The more neutral you get in the horse's body and the more you can feel their legs, their hind legs, their barrel, and their shoulders swing underneath you, and you can absorb and mimic that movement, then you can make more subtle aids, your nervous system will feel more safe, and you will be able to give more centered aids. So instead of turning from your inside rein, for example, if I wanted to turn left, my center could make that turn, and my reins would just be framing my center. So then I wouldn't need my inside rein to make an inside turn. I would be able to make it from my center. So as I'm turning, I can stay over the horse's back equally, and I can use my line of sight and my center to turn the horse. And all horses are very responsive to this. So instead of needing to over aid by pulling this inside rein way back, I could just turn my center where I wanted the horse to go. And then if I wanted to use my leg to bend the horse around, it would be congruent with moving my midsection over. So the horse can move away from this leg because my weight, I'll bring it on the other side so you can see it, because my weight moves the horse over and the leg is congruent. So I bring my weight over and the horse moves over with me, nice and easy. And then I can sit on my three-point seat, as we call it, or a neutral pelvis, because I'm feeling stable and the horse can safely carry me. So a very important part of learning to ride well is learning to stabilize ourselves so that we feel safe, so that our hips can move with the horse. And the more our hips can move with the horse, the more we can ride with centered aids, where our hands and feet and legs and whip and voice are all backing up what the center says first. The more we do that, the softer the horse's back will get, the more they will be the less they will be defensive of our aids, the softer they will respond, and the less they'll have to lock up to respond, which is, again, feeding the cycle of being able to use more subtle aids.